Now this is the conclusion of the King of Heybeli Island. Now, King Skotka, as he is now called, his rule extended for several months. And as the months went by, nobody heard a lot from the sorceress Jamila. She locked her way up in her tower, and nobody really ever heard from her since, not even Princess Rumesa, who was best friends with her. And she'd always used to go and visit, try and learn magic from her. But not even Princess Rumesa knew where she was, because she was allowing no visitors. Anyway, as King Skotka's and Queen Noria's rule proceeded onward, people grew happier, and happier, and the years went on, until finally, Daruba, who was now the new commander of the troops, came into the throne room. "Your Majesty!" "What is it? What is it?" Daruba," said King Skotka. "There are pirates! They're attacking! I get news word! Again? Again they are attacking! This cannot be! This cannot be! But it is, Your Majesty. The pirates of the Crimson Brotherhood to the south. They're coming in great numbers, and they want revenge for what happened to them years ago when King Aharon ruled. They want revenge. We must do something, Daruba. What shall we do?" And King Skotka looked over to his wife, Queen Noria. My love, what shall we do?" "I do not know, husband. I think Jamila might know." "Jamila? She has not spoken to anyone in years." "But perhaps now she will, now that the kingdom is under threat again. I say, Your Majesty, you should go to her, my husband. Go to her." "I will do that." And so King Skotka went to the sorceress's tower and knocked on the door. And Jamila the sorceress came to the door. And he was amazed because she had locked herself in there. Nobody knew what she was doing all those years, ever since he took the throne. And Jamila came to the door, and she said, "What is it you want, Your Majesty?" "Jamila, we are in great need. The pirates of the Crimson Brotherhood, as my commander Dilruba tells me they are called, they want revenge, and they've returned to attack Heybeli. We must need your magic." "Come in, Your Majesty," said Jamila. "I need a word with you. I've not spoken." They go into Jamila's inner chambers, and they sit down at her table. And Jamila says, I know what you did to King Aharon. You had him killed with your best warrior, Dilruba." "You do? You know this? But why didn't you say anything all those years ago?" "It was not my place. Because of what you did, I cannot help you directly in this matter. But I can help you in this way. I have a magic flower, and if any of your men are ever hurt, if they die, this flower will revive them. It is a magical tulip. Here." And she gave him the magical tulip. But I must tell you, this tulip only works a total of 20 times. And after each time, you revive a person from death. It takes like half an hour before it can fully recharge, before you can use it again. "Is this all you can do for me?" You know I am king. If you refuse to help me, I will lock you away. You cannot lock me away. I do not fear anything you could do to me. Now goodbye. And poof, she disappeared in a bit of smoke, and King Skotka disappeared in a puff of smoke as well. And he was back in the throne room with his wife. And he ordered the guards to go up to the sorceress's tower and break open the door, but they tried, but they couldn't. It was magically sealed, and nobody could get in there. So there's nothing King Skotka could do. So he summoned Dilruba, and they discussed plans for the defenses of the city. And he told Dilruba about the magical flower, and how that it only had 20 charges, and after each charge it had to regenerate at least half an hour. So the Crimson Brotherhood grew near, and in 2 weeks' time they were right outside the city gates, and there was a whole armada of these pirate ships from the south. There was about 50 on one side and 50 on the other, and the king was frantic, and he didn't know what to do. They were outnumbered. And so Nuria would not let them set up the ballistas and catapults near the cliff, because she said it was too dangerous. And the king did plead with his wife, "But Nuria, you must understand. We must be closer so we can be at a better advantage." "But you would not be under cover," said Nuria. "You must keep them on the parapets." And so they kept them on the parapets, and Dilruba did command the defense alongside her king. And the pirates just stormed and fired their ballistas from their ships and their catapults, and the flaming boulders and arrows completely obliterated the walls of Heybeli. And then the pirates breached their ships, and they went through the walls, and they climbed up the walls. And Dilruba, with a scimitar and a bow and arrow, would shoot, and she killed many a pirate. But then a pirate arrow came up from behind, and it was poisoned, and hit her in the back, and she fell down, dying. "I'm sorry, my king. I am sorry." Dilruba, Dilruba, you cannot die, girl. You are my best warrior. You must live again. The tulip, the flower that the sorceress Sir Jamila gave me, it will revive you. And so he used the tulip on her, and she was revived. And she was ready to fight again, and she slashed at the pirates, and she shot at the pirates, and she drove many a pirate back from the walls, and she did not get hurt again. But many of King Skotka's warriors did, and the pirates slew many, and more overwhelmed the walls, and they were outnumbered. "Maria, my wife, what are we to do?" "I don't know, my husband. I don't know. We must escape. We must find a way to..." "I will never escape. I am King Skotka MacLeal, and I will fight on against these pirates, and we will drive them." "It is hopeless, husband. It is hopeless." "I am with my king, your majesty, Queen Nuria. I will stand with him, for I am Dilruba of the warriors, and I will go down fighting with my king if I must." And so all three of them went out to battle. All three of them went out to die with the rest of the warriors. And as they were fighting, a thought came to Dilruba. She thought, "There is only one way. The king gave me a flower, and I have it still, to revive any troops, and we are almost all gone. There's no way we can win this battle. Back in the days of King Aharon, King Skotka was a mighty commander and warrior, but he won his battles with a great presence and commanding force and warriorship of our former King Aharon. Only with him could we have defeated them, and we need him now." So Dilruba secretly took the flower, and she went to the grave site of where they buried their King Aharon. And she dug, as the battle raged all around the courtyard. She dug, until she found King Aharon's dead body, and she took out the flower. She said, "I hope this works. We really need you now, King Aharon. King Skotka needs you now." And she presses the flower to his breast. The king miraculously wakes up. Where am I? Where am I? Daruba, my warrior, thief of hearts. You revived me. And the king did not remember anything of what happened to him. He thought he was still king still. What is that sound? What is that sound? Are we under attack? Yes, your majesty. The pirates of the Crimson Brotherhood have returned for revenge. Where is my sorceress? She speaks to no one, your majesty. We don't know why she has locked herself in a tower and refused to speak. We do not know. Bring me my sword and my shield. Daruba, we shall go out. Where is Skotka? I will join him. He is on the battlefield with his wife. They fight together, back to back. Then we shall join them, and my great warriorship and his great battle prowess as well, and intelligence and cunning. Together we will defeat them. And so they went out to the battlefield, and as she ran down with her king, Daruba thought, it's a good thing he does not remember about me killing him, and Skotka now being king, because we would all be tried for treason and killed, most likely. But anyway, they rushed down to the battlefield, and they fought. And Daruba was there with her bow and arrow, and a sword and scimitar. And King Skotka was there. Your Majesty, you're alive! What do you mean I am alive? Of course I'm alive. I was just sleeping. Why did you not wake me, you foolish commander? Daruba, he does not know? No, he does not, your majesty. I revived him with a flower because only he can help you defend them. He was the true king. You went against my demands, but you are right, Daruba. You are very correct. Only he can help us defend them. Come! We must defend them! I don't know why you thought I was dead. I was just sleeping. And you will... Come on, we must fight! And they fought on, hacking and slashing. And with the great power of King Harun, by Commander Skotka's side, they vanquished the Crimson Brotherhood. Because they saw the King Harun, who they thought was dead, because Skotka was proclaimed king. The pirates scattered, and they said, King Harun! King Harun is alive! And they all fled in terror because they thought it was some phantom from the great beyond, come to destroy them all. So they all fled and jumped into the ocean. He's alive! And as Harun fought, he wondered, why do you shout I am alive? Of course I'm alive, you pirate scum! And curse at thee! I will drive you to the ocean! And they all drove back. And the ships sailed away, far away, never to return, ever again. And after the great battle, everything was restored, and King Harun made everything new. Skotka did not tell them, of course, that he had made himself king. And he made all the people promise in secret not to tell. And they didn't, because they loved their commander. And just as much as they loved their former king, even though at times he was quite cruel. But in reality, they actually did love Harun, because he was the only true one who could truly defend their kingdom. And as everything went back to peace over the years, through the months, actually, and the city was restored, King Harun turned to his commander, Skotka, and he said, my good commander, my faithful and loyal commander, Skotka MacLeal, where is Jamila? Why did she not help us in the battle against the Crimson Brotherhood of Pirates? Your Majesty, I do not know. For while you slept in your garden, for that's what they told him, he slept in his garden, not the cemetery. That whole spell warped his mind, and he could not remember much at all. But anyway, Skotka continued to explain to him, while you slept, Sorceress Jamil cut off all link with us. And she gave us a magic flower that could revive the life of anyone. A magic flower? A magic flower. A tulip. Seems very familiar. Never mind, it doesn't matter. But anyway, Sorceress Jamila is in big trouble.